again for joining me on the program TMI Monday. We'll talk education now, particularly with the cries and complaints over the years of the standards falling. But a major innovation, particularly in admission process, has to do with what they call CBT exams, computer-based tests that we see around. But there have been questions about structures put in place by some individuals who wants to take undue advantage of the process. We'll be talking about all of that in the course of the program. But I have with me in the studio St. Moses Irumosale. He's an educationist. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Good morning.
We also have with us Edos Egbetu. He's also an educationist. Edos, many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, let me start with you, St. Moses. Well, it's such a delight to have you here. The last time you were with me on a program like this, I can't even remember how long. You've always been at the forefront in promoting education, giving young people the opportunity to hone their skills, develop their knowledge, and then face life the way it ought to be. I recall some years back, you had the privilege of bringing Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka to Benin City. I mean, it was massive. Yeah. It was massive. What was it like then in terms of students' response to exam, response to such things? Because today, when you look at our youths, what seems to be uppermost in their mind is how to hammer, maybe drive Venza, drive ML, and all of that. What has changed, and why has these changes, taking place so rapidly?
Yeah. The first thing I want to thank you, it's been a long while. In 2007, when we brought Wole Soyinka to Benin, he said something, and that has remained a psychic wellspring for me, why I do some of the things I do. He said to the students then that some of you, some youth will turn out to be hoodlums, turn out to be criminals, turn out to be election thieves and all that, but that the others will turn out to be the true leaders of tomorrow. That if we continue to multiply 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 6, before long, more youth will become leaders of tomorrow, and then the nation will be recovered. Okay. So that's why I see that over the years, I've been doing this. I've been helping. Last week, I got a call from one of the students who was necessary that time. He's doing his PhD now in London.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, really?
How time flies.
Just 11 years now, and
wow.
I said, oh my God.
Wow.
So these are some of the reasons why we do what we do. We want to inspire the next generation. Unfortunately, some of us did not have a lot of people to inspire us. And so we had to hustle our way through, and so we thought, no, we must stop this. We must be a bridge to the next generation. We must give them hope, we must give them a focus, and we must help to correct the errors of the past. And that's why we do what we do, and I think and I believe that over the years, as time progresses, I will get to see better days ahead in our educational sector. Right now, it's so bad.
It's so bad right now. All right, Edos, you share in these sentiments.
Of course I do, and it's actually quite appalling if you consider the standard. I've had the opportunity to interact and talk with a number of students presently, and there are certain things you hear and you'll be amazed, like, I mean, did you go to school at all? For example, during the ongoing JAMB registration, a number of candidates, not just one, they keep asking a simple question. That is, what does marital status mean? I mean, it's
appalling. It's appalling. You're just in awe that at this level you find students asking those kind of questions.
And these are students that are about to gain admission into universities. And it doesn't just end there. I've also had the opportunity to meet with even graduates. Now, these are people, what I was talking about was those undergraduates, so it's still understandable. Yeah. But when you have graduates having difficulty spelling or writing simple comprehension passages, you begin to wonder and ponder, like, did you go to school at all? So it's compared to the standard of education previously, I think it's falling, and it's falling drastically.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Let me come to you, St. Moses. One of the major innovation in admission has been these CBT exams. But like in the typical Nigerian situation, no matter how good a policy is or a new innovation, you always find people in one way or the other who tries to undermine it by way of polluting it. Let me use that word. What are your thoughts along those lines?
Yeah, I think I've always held the view that technology will help us fight corruption.
Technology
Yes.
will help to fight corruption.
Yes, there are some errors with technology, but it's the advantages of technology far outweigh the errors. For JAM, as a case study, I found a very interesting exam. I'm involved, they have a civic center in Benin, and I noticed something. For the JAM exam, to a very large extent, for me, in my opinion, it's one of the best conducted exams so far. Why? From the beginning, from the registration process, they control the registration. They are very, very meticulous. Even a federal institution in this country was closed down, the civic center was closed down, simply because there was infraction. They don't care. In another state, another federal institution, these are federal institutions are touched. When you break the rule, you face it. And that shows that JAM is serious to correct the errors, which is exam malpractice. When someone goes into the school using examination malpractice, the tendency is for the person to continue is there, very high. And when the person is finished and comes into society, maybe it's not my doctor, I'm in an emergency, I'm rushing to his or our hospital, I'm in trouble, we are in trouble. So that's why it's always good to bring this innovation, and this innovation will help. For JAM, it has been helping. Yes, there'll be some infraction, there'll be technological hitches and all that, but over 80%, JAM is doing very well. And I must commend them. I said, like I told my colleague the last time, I said, I found JAM exam to be, because before 10 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't like this.
No.
It wasn't like this.
It's different.
Okay, but the real big issue here is that some people are claiming to be accredited centers, whereas they know they are not, which means they're probably taking advantage of maybe lack of information on the part of students. So what do you make of this as a challenge?
Yeah, for the accredited centers, I think JAM is doing its best to enlighten people on the accredited centers. If you go to JAM site, you see a list of all these centers. So I want to use this opportunity to reach out to everyone out there. The accredited centers are not hidden. They are on the JAM site, and if you go to any of the JAM offices, you would see the list clearly stated. It is wrong by the time you decide to go to a cyber cafe. Most of these ones have been shut down, by the way. If you go to any cyber cafe or any hidden corner to do your registration, there are bound to be repercussions. And it's even more expensive that way. It is easier to go straight to the accredited centers, and if you need to find them, just go to jam.org.ng and you get the comprehensive list. Unaccredited centers are becoming, or they've been an issue to JAM long before now. Cyber cafes have been an issue for JAM long before now, and I think they are doing their best to curb this. I think I want to commend them. They're doing really well. They're doing very well. Notwithstanding, it comes down to the information on the individuals. We need to be enlightened on how to do. Why would you pay 6,000 or more to a certain cafe or maybe even a lecture house when you can go directly to an accredited CBT center and pay 4,700 naira? Save yourself the stress, save yourself the money, and do genuine registration. It's much better that way.
Does it mean that lecture centers are also a part of a problem, particularly as it relates to this issue?
I would not say they are a part of the problem, but they could be a part of the problem. First, it's very clear, lecture centers are not accredited centers. We have only 29 accredited centers in Edo State. And the one way to know an accredited center is that they charge the official rate. And I find it absurd why people will want to pay more when paying more will not even give you an extra advantage. It's the evidence of ignorance on our people, on the part of our people. But then, lecture centers are helping in some way to help bring students to knowledge, to get, to teach them, not to enroll them. Lecture centers are not to enroll, they are to teach students. Enrollment is done at the accredited JAM centers, and there are only 39 and 29 in Edo State.
Okay, we'll take a short break for the news for this time. When we return, we will conclude this discussion on the standard of education, particularly as it relates to requirement for entries into higher institutions, particularly some of the structures that have been put in place, whether at JAMB level, or WAEC level, or NECO level. But I still have Edoze Betui, as well as St. Michael Mosale joining me on this program, TMI, to look at educational standards, and of course as it relates to entry exams based on some of the challenges facing that sector. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Now, particularly with the CBT exams, you said that the one who is a prospective candidate, go to the website, check where those names are enlisted, so that you're sure of what you're doing registrations before you're caught napping or be at the mercy of someone who wants to manipulate the process. But there are a lot of people who are not computer literate. What hope is there? Because I remember the first encounter I had with the CBT exam was after my graduation. I was to do an intern with Share, and here I was with the computer. That was my first one-on-one encounter with a computer. The first thing I punched that day, the computer went off. It wasn't a good experience. But yeah, there are people like that. Yeah. So what hope is there for them?
Yeah, you're right. That's a very big problem, and many students who fail this JAMB exam fail not because they didn't know the subject.
Okay.
Many of them don't know how to use a computer. That could be a very big problem. And there are plans on ground. We have been in talks with JAMB, with the state. If you recall, many years ago in 2001, there was some programs like that we held in
Okay. Okay.
but that was to
Like a conference or a workshop, that kind of a thing.
before the exam.
Yeah.
So that will happen in Benin, and a lot of them we are informed through the media.
Okay.
And I'm not supposed to talk about the details.
No, others should pay us for that. Yes.
I don't want to pay now.
Yeah.
And the point is, there are plans on ground to help the students, particularly in Edo State and neighboring Delta State, those who can come for the workshop, how to use the computer.
Okay.
And they'll train them, they'll tell them everything to do, and also last-minute revision.
Okay. Just to prepare them for the exams.
Yes.
All right.
Plus
All right. Good to you. Want to add a comment to that?
Yes. Also to add to that, for every candidate that comes to our center, we have a plan to train them on how to use. A number of them, there are those that came in initially that had no idea what to do or how to go about the exams, but we've put them through sessions of training.
Just to equip them.
To equip them. And they find out it's actually easy.
Okay.
It's just that fright that comes when you're seeing something for the first
time, like me, like the experience I had some years back.
Yes.
Okay.
So a number of them now are quite familiar with it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming on the show. TMI, St. Michael, so many things to come.
Moses.
St. Moses, geez, well, it's okay. It's okay. Good to you. Many thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Well, that's our package for today on TMI. We hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. Be sure to join us tomorrow. We'll have a new edition coming up tomorrow. Be sure to keep it there with us at exactly 7 o'clock. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun. Thanking you for staying with me. Have a great week ahead. Don't forget that Saturday is a date with destiny. The rescheduled election takes place. Ensure that irrespective of what happened, get ready, cast your vote. It's your civic right. Don't be distracted. Don't be intimidated. Go out there and do what is needful. Bye for now.